What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, put it on all so you get notified of all our latest material, latest content on this channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, the WBO have ordered Showtime Shawn Porter versus Terrence Bud Crawford. And for me, this is at least potential good news. Because as we know, there's a lot of politics between the PBC, Bob Arum, Errol Spencer said back in days, Terrence Crawford's got to cross the street, he's got to come over to our side, to PBC. And this PBC versus everybody else talk has been going on and on and on. It's been droning on for ages, Everyone thinks they're the A side, and it results in rubbish and no fights. But fortunately, it looks like that whole thing might actually be broken, because Showtime Shawn Porter, one thing I know about him, generally speaking, he does sort of want to fight everybody. You look at who he's fought, good champions, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence Jr. He's fought Kell Brook back in the day. That's when Kell Brook won his first world title, and he's always had this willingness, and showed Danny Garcia as well. He's shown a good willingness to sort of fight everybody. He's the type that's not going to be scared of anybody. So with a lot of these other fighters avoiding Terrence Crawford, and I think the PBC even dismissed the WBO as a belt. They said, we're not going to recognize it. And that's all a bit convenient, because that's the belt that Terrence Crawford holds. And so if we're lucky, and if they can agree to terms on this fight, and if Shawn Porter definitely wants this, then we shall have Shawn Porter versus Terrence Crawford. And it's one of those where I think Shawn Porter will be a good test for Terrence Crawford. I think Porter is kind of slightly past his best. Don't know if he's as good as he was back a few years ago now. He's been out of the ring for a little while. But nonetheless, he's a guy that has fought everybody. He's fought all the top names pretty much, apart from Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is that one missing name. So yeah, we may get this fight. There's no particular date on it, but the important information that we have now is that the WBO have sort of mandated it. They've ordered it to happen, and we know that if both teams can't come to an agreement and sort of agree on a purse or whatever, it will then go to purse bids. And with a purse bid, it's a good thing, because it's not partisan, it's not really partial. It's just, it goes to that purse bid, and whoever comes with the highest number, the most amount of money, they can host a fight. So it's the type of thing where even someone like an Eddie Hearn, he bid on Lopez Cambosis. Anyone can, if they don't agree, anyone can bid on it. You could even get something like Triller, although I don't know what's happening with Triller, but they bid the $6 million for that Cambosis Lopez. And so that's a good bit of news there. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get Terrence Crawford versus Showtime Shawn Porter. I guess it could be at some point during this year if all the negotiations are successful. But it's definitely encouraging signs. Better than the signs we got last time, where Shawn Porter saying, $1 million is an insult to him. And then I don't think he fought anyone after that. And I think this is one of them fights that, in terms of both boxers' careers, because the PBC's got basically a lot of these top welterweights, apart from Terrence Crawford, he's like that one missing one. But because they've got all that, it's been hard for Terrence Crawford, because he's essentially been frozen out. That some of these guys have sort of fought each other, and he's been unable to secure a fight. There was talk about him versus Pacquiao. Pacquiao chose Errol Spence instead. So we have that. So I think this is one of them where it's going to be very important for Terrence Crawford, and I think this fight is going to benefit Terrence Crawford greatly if he can go in there and pull off the win, which I think he most definitely could. I think he's kind of head and shoulders above Shawn Porter. I think Shawn Porter will present problems and will give him a bit of a rough time and a bit of trouble, but ultimately I think there's a gap there in skill between Crawford and Shawn Porter. I think definitely Crawford is just that bit better, very much, very versatile, so skilled, sublimely skilled. I reckon he'll definitely do a number on Porter, but it probably won't be easy. But yeah, let me know what you think about this, guys. WBO orders Terrence Crawford versus Shawn Porter. What do you think? Do you think it's going to happen? And if it does happen, who would you pick as your winner, Terrence Crawford or Shawn Porter? For me, hands down, Terrence Crawford. I think for me, I back him to beat Spence as well. I back him as sort of the top one at welterweight, but fights have got to happen, and they're all in their 30s now, so let's hope they happen. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, this is MKO Pugilism, over and out. Catch you on the next one.